Hey everybody, welcome to part 3 of my HK VP9sk video series showing the first shots. If you guys watched the first series or the first video, that was my trip down to the FFL to the transfer, and then a little bit of a tease, not opening the case all the way, but in part 2 you guys got to see at the range and how the gun performed, which my first impressions were I was impressed. I really liked the gun a lot. The more I shot it, the more I liked it. And I know I've said that about a lot of guns, guys, and it just seems like you find one or two that are just better for each individual. And this one is it for me. This VP9sk is a fantastic little gun. Now it has close to coming up on 300 rounds to it now. The target you're looking at right here, this is from the video, the shooting video, and that was 120 rounds in the paper, and then we had 20 more on steel, and I'm really happy with the concentration of rounds there and up into the face as well. Now these targets, really quick, they have scoring lines, and I really like where they are. They're very realistic scoring lines up on the face there. They're right here. But you can't see them when you're training. So you actually are looking at a human silhouette when you're training for self-defense, which I think is the best way. If you're going to go from the holster and shoot to practice to train for self-defense, I don't think there's anything better than shooting at a realistic looking human. The rubber dummies I think are great also, and might see one of those down the road on my range as well. But really quick to tell you guys, check out the Action Targets link in the description below. I picked these up. They're 9 cents a piece right now, plus shipping. So 9 cents, I bought 200 of them. 18 bucks for 200 and then your shipping. I think it ends up being like 32, 34 bucks for 200 targets, which will last a long time. I will end up probably putting another 100 plus rounds in this before I replace the target. And so it can last up to a week, 2 or 3 weeks before you have to replace. So you're talking about years worth of targets at just 9 cents a piece. So check them out. Plus, here's the funny thing. Take a look at that target and tell me if that doesn't resemble James Yeager. So if there happen to be any Yeager haters out there, buy these targets just so you can shoot Yeager in the face. It looks just like him. I noticed that about halfway through the range trip the other day. But anyway, that's a whole different video. Let's talk about the VP9sk. Shot well, it feels good in the hands, it's really accurate, and as a matter of fact, I'm not going to jump off course too much, but I did a head-to-head competition with the SK and the full size, and what I did is I took the full size and I took the SK with the pinky extension. I went back to 10 yards, and would you know it, I didn't have the camera on when I did this, but I went back to 10 yards, slow fire, as slow as I could possibly go, and as accurate. And I shot a 2 1/4 inch group with the VP9 full size. I shot a 2-inch group with the SK with the pinky extension. So I don't know if it's coincidence, it was just 5 rounds a piece, but I'm going to continue to test those a little bit and see which one I shoot better, quote unquote. Of course, 2 or 2 1/4 inches is definitely good enough for self-defense, so I'm not too concerned with that. But it was fun to do, just to see which one was better. I guess I should talk. We talked about features, guys. Look at HK VP9 videos, and the features are exactly the same. I'm going to show you guys size comparison here, just so you get a really good idea. And let's see the best way to do this. Let's look at the length between the two. All right, try to get you in there. You can see the difference in length. Enough to make a difference if you're carrying an appendix, absolutely. But I want you guys to look at something. Look at from the ejection ports to the back. They are absolutely 100% identical. And that's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you are used to the regular VP9 and you go to the subcompact, everything is in the exact same spot. So the full-size VP9, your slide release is right here. On the subcompact in the exact same spot. So there's no learning curve whatsoever between the VP9 and the subcompact. They're exactly the same gun. One just has a shorter grip and a shorter slide, but all the controls, everything is in the exact same spot. So when you take your firing grip, your thumb position, is going to be in the same place on both. And I think that is a huge advantage for a subcompact. A lot of them, companies such as the Shield, feel similar to the full-size M&Ps, but it is quite a bit different. Definitely different than the compact versions. You know, the M&P compacts are a little chunky, and I like them, but they're a little chunky compared to the Shield, or vice versa. Maybe you like the chunky feel, and the Shield feels really skinny. But either way, they knocked it out of the park by making this virtually the same exact gun, just a shorter slide, shorter grip. So awesome job there, HK. I mean, phenomenal. Now, the other advantage to that is, if you take a VP9 holster, such as this deep concealment holster, you put your VP9 in it. Since the only difference is the length, your VP9 subcompact fits in it perfectly. The only difference is you have a gap at the end. So it would still work though. If you want to carry it in a good holster, it works. Your trigger guard distance is exactly the same, so it fits in there just like the full-size Big Brother. So it's an option until you get a holster specific to the subcompact. A question came up also if I'd had issues with my VP9. A subscriber had asked a question about an issue with shooting the VP9 and hitting the slide release. I've never had that problem. I've got 1,300 rounds through the full size now. I've never had that. Generally though, when I shoot, my thumb, sometimes you'll see it up high, but I push it against the meat here. I don't rest it on the side of the gun. My thumbs are pushing against each other for tension to help mitigate recoil. So my thumb really doesn't rest on that at all. So to answer that question, no, I've had no issues there whatsoever. Now, there was a holster that I was using during the shooting video, and it's actually an old standby of mine. It's a Stealth Gear, and it's for a Springfield XDS. It is pretty old. You can see it's starting to wear out, which I should tell you guys that Stealth Gear will replace that. I can send that back and get a brand new one because it has a lifetime guarantee, even against wear. Stealth Gear is an awesome company. Extremely nice holsters, especially in hot weather. This backing material is kind of like a mesh t-shirt. It's just phenomenal when it's really hot and humid. So I had this for my XDS, and when I got rid of that gun, I wanted to use this holstered appendix. So I started fiddling around with the poly piece here and the rubber grommets and changing the thickness. I've carried everything from a Glock 19 to a Shield to a Glock 43 in this thing, and it works safely. One nice thing about the hybrid holster is you can really pull that up against your body tight, and it'll hold a gun in nice and secure. But I have to say that no gun has fitted quite as well as the subcompact. It's like it was made for it. And I'm going to hold this thing up, guys, with a concrete floor under me. I'm not holding behind the gun. I'm holding by the belt loop. That thing is in there. It locks in really, really nicely for a hybrid holster. I want to show you also, even around the trigger guard, it looks like it was made for this gun. So it's great. I mean, I actually have an appendix holster to carry in already for the subcompact, so that's very cool. The ammo that I shot, I didn't tell you guys when I was shooting it. I don't know why I didn't, I just forgot, but 124 grain Federal HSTs worked flawlessly through the gun. Put several through it, bought another box of 50 and wanted to put those through it and run them. They worked perfectly flawless, no problem. And then the other time was the Hellfire ammunition for a lot of the shots that you saw here, and got a Hellfire review, not a review, but a ammo score. So check that out also. I just put that video up. So far that's been some good ammo, and I'm going to keep running it. Gosh, guys, I think to close out, man, I talked about the magazines that ran perfect, the 13 and 15 rounders, a USP and a VP9 mag. The features are the same. The holsters, the shootability, the accuracy, it was just excellent, guys. I don't know how else to close this video out other than saying that through about 300 rounds, I feel plenty confident in carrying this gun. Daniel Shaw had issues at 200 and something, so I've already exceeded his threshold. And as I said before, I think that was an anomaly. I think it was just a bad recoil spring. So far, everything looks perfect on the inside of this. I've taken it apart, broken it down. The recoil spring looks solid, which is a dual recoil spring in the subcompact. But So far, so good, guys. You're going to see this at the range a lot. It is going to be definitely my carry gun, and I'm in love, man. And as much as I love my HK VP9, VP9sk might overtake it as my favorite. Stay tuned. I love them both, though. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.